So 200 days into carnivore at age 16. What the heck made you want to do carnivore?
I had tried a lot of other things like paleo and whole 30 and low carb and keto and like calorie restricting. I do look at billboards a little differently now, like Starbucks billboards. I'm like, just advertising drugs for people, like just trying to get them hooked. All the Lunchables with the gummies and candy in them, just trying to get the kids hooked too. I started carnivore at 220 pounds, and after the 30 days, I was like, I feel good. I'm gonna keep going. Might as well. Progress over perfection. I'm actually getting stronger instead of weaker on this diet. So I'm looking for the right answer, not the easy answer. At least as far as this goes. Because, I want to live a long, happy, healthy life. So I want to be able to do that as correctly as I can. I am an all in or all out kind of person. I can't just like have a little bit here, have a cheat day once a month. If you're a teen and you're feeling down or you're feeling depressed, know that you're not alone and know that it can be fixed.
Hello and welcome. Carrie here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. And today I'm thankful, grateful, blessed to have young Kaleb on the channel. Kaleb is a carnivore. He's rocking the Healing Humanity shirt. We got to meet out in Arizona. How's it going, Kaleb?
It's going really good. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Happy to
That's
talk to you.
I'm happy to have you on. I'm really happy that you are brave enough to share your story. You have your own YouTube channel, which I'll have a link in the description below. But I think it's so important. I'm the father of teenagers that I'm very thankful they're eating this way now and they're doing really well. But Kaleb, I get so many questions from people. How can I get my kids to do this? How can I get my teenagers to do this? I want them to start eating better. So I'm looking forward to hearing your story, sharing your story. We're first, can we start off? Just could you let people know, like, how old are you and where are you from?
I currently live in Caldwell, Idaho. I am 16 years old. I started carnivore, I believe it was June the 17th or July 17th, 2024. So I was actually 15 when I started. So that was like 200 some days ago.
Nice.
So
All right. So 200 days into carnivore at age 16. What the heck made you want to do carnivore?
I tried a lot of other things. I never been vegan because I always knew vegan wasn't great for me because I had an aunt that went vegan, and she went way off the deep end of vegan. Like she wouldn't sit on leather couches and stuff. And I was like, she's kind of crazy in some ways. So I was like, I that might not be a good idea. And plus, I just liked meat too much, anyways. I didn't want to, give it up. And I had tried a lot of other things like paleo and whole 30 and low carb and keto and like calorie restricting. I got myself all the way down to 1,200 calories a day at one point just to get the numbers down. And that kind of led to carnivore eventually. But I kind of like given up at a certain point last year, and my parents just offered like, "Hey, we're gonna go visit Idaho." At the time, we were living in Nevada. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna go visit Idaho for 4th of July. When we come back, do you want to start carnivore with us? We're gonna try 30 days." And I was like, "Yeah, yep." I was like, I know. There's some really good things about carnivore. I've done a lot of research. I've watched videos. I'd actually seen a couple of your videos before at the time, and I was like, I know there is something here. So sure, yeah, let's do it. So then we did it, and we were going for 30 days. And after the 30 days, I was like, I feel good. I'm gonna keep going. Might as well. I was like, I don't really have a desire to go back to eating however I was eating. And I was happy again. I wasn't happy when we had done it, and I had a lot of anxiety and stuff, and like borderline depression, I would say. And so I didn't have any of those things anymore. So I just kept going, like I'm just gonna keep doing this, whatever. So yeah, that's how that happened. And now I'm kind of in the experimentation stage of carnivore. I'm trying out other carnivore foods to see how it affects me. So
What was your big motivation? Was it weight loss, or you mentioned feeling anxious and things like that, but was your big why just losing some weight?
absolutely, yeah. My big why was losing weight. I started carnivore at what I'm guessing was 220 pounds. It could have been, 5, 10 pounds more than that. I was afraid to step on the scale when I started, so I didn't do it. But a couple weeks in, I did, and I was like, okay, like 215. I was like, that's got to be lighter than I was. So I'm all the way down to like 193 now. Um,
Wow.
still got a little while to go, but it hasn't been stressful to still have extra weight to lose, and I don't feel like I'm rushed to lose it or anything, which is great because usually if I'm on a diet, then I'm like I have to see progress somewhere. I have to see the number go down. I have to lose weight. But there isn't really that with carnivore at all, and I'm very grateful for that.
Right. You said on a diet in quotation marks. I'm
Yeah.
with you on that one. Does this feel different than any other sort of diet you've done in the past?
For sure, absolutely. One of the big reasons for that being I'm actually getting stronger instead of weaker on this diet. Usually, I'm in the past I've lost weight by just not eating enough food, so my body is forced to take the extra weight, and therefore I'm losing muscle mass and getting weaker. That's definitely not happening right now. I'm getting stronger like every week, every month, and I'm not even super committed to working out just yet. My schedule is a little bit busy, uh, busy working for my dad right now. So there's that. But yeah, it's definitely different than other diets. And, I got good energy. Usually I don't have good energy on my other diets. And if I do have good energy, it's simply because of the dopamine hit from that morning of lower weight. So
Right.
that's definitely different.
Yeah, that's one of the things I realized on carnivore too, because a lot of people gave me a hard time when I said I'm doing carnivore. Like, here he goes again, another crazy diet, fad diet. This guy's nuts. But after doing it for a while, I had the same experience it sounds like you had, where I'm like, this doesn't feel forced or unnatural, like I'm starving myself and I just got to get through this. I just got to restrict these calories for a little bit longer and I'll lose the weight. And then ultimately, I would gain all that weight back. It doesn't feel like that on carnivore. It's just feels natural. It feels like this is what we were meant to be doing. I don't really have to think about it.
For sure.
So, in terms of your mom and dad, are they still doing carnivore?
Uh, they did carnivore for the 30 days, and then we had to move, and they were like, okay, we know we're going to go out to eat with other people because, we're leaving and not going to see them. They're doing carnivore right now. They started January. They started the new year, and they've been doing really good, it seems. So that's really cool. A few of my family members are sick right now in the house. I was sick recently, but it took me 2 days to get better after like throwing up and stuff. So that was actually, it usually takes me like 4 to 7 days to get better. It took me 2 days, which is awesome because I think out of everyone, it took me the least amount of time to get better, which I'm very thankful for. And I think that is because of carnivore, and I don't think it's just because of luck.
Right. Yeah, I have heard that, Caleb, so many times from people where their whole one person in the family, in these other examples, is doing carnivore. The rest of the family wasn't. The whole family gets sick. They're all out for like a week, and it's like a day or two, and the carnivore's fine. It's just, I think our immune systems are so much stronger eating this way for sure.
Absolutely.
So, have you had? Do you go to school or are you homeschooled? I
I'm
guess the question.
homeschooled.
You're homeschooled. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like peers or friends or cousins or people in your sort of age group? Or I noticed you were going to the gym too, which I want to talk about. Anyone else that are like, what are you doing? Like, this is kind of weird because that's one of the big things that teenagers have is like they want to fit in with the group and they're the weird ones out. So carnivore is really hard for any of them to wrap their brain around.
Well, as far as a group and fitting in goes, in a lot of ways, the main fitting in was just being as skinny as everyone else. Because I was one of the only overweight people in my friend group. Like I have my brother Levi, my brother James, and my friend Champ are all like very athletic, very fit. They're all strong. And I was always the guy who could just beat them in an arm wrestle. I was never able to run faster than them. I could never climb the trees they were climbing. So it was more that, like, I just wanted to be able to do what they could do. It wasn't so much as fitting in because I'm not really a follower in that sense. They're like, oh, I want to fit in and do what the crowd is doing because, if over 70% of America is obese, then the crowd must not be doing something right. So
Right.
not really a good idea to follow the crowd in that sense, in my opinion. But yeah, that's essentially why I did it. It wasn't necessarily for that. And What I'm doing, I don't do a ton of school. I do very little school right now because I'm actually, hopefully, I'm going to be graduating this year. Because I just, I'm working for my dad now. I'm getting myself a job. I actually had another job pretty recently, and I'm going to be starting my own thing pretty soon here. So I'm kind of like out of the, when you homeschool, it's kind of like a choice when your kid gets to graduate. And that point for me is kind of just naturally coming because I'm doing my own job and stuff. So it's starting to just naturally go out of the whole school thing.
Nice. It's really awesome that you are not going with the crowd. You wouldn't have done carnivore if you were just going with the whole crowd, right? Like we're the
Yeah.
odd ones out, and now look what you're doing. So that's pretty awesome. What what are you thinking of in terms of work and like a future career? And you mentioned working for your dad.
So right now with my dad, he does custom video game cases for old retro games like the Game Boy Advance and whatnot. And I work for him. I'm essentially his assembly worker. I assemble all the game cases with the covers, and I put them in the boxes, and I do the big orders and whatnot, and get them ready for shipments. Um, for future, eventually, I want to use that money to invest, and I want to be able to do something in that kind of category, and maybe start my own business of some kind, depending on whether or not the idea arrives. But other than that, I my whole goal is kind of to not need to be an employee necessarily, because the majority, at least from what I've seen, the majority of millionaires and successful people, they're never like employees of big corporate companies. So I'm not really looking to be like that. If I have to do that for a time, then I'll do it for a time. But I'm looking to kind of get past that eventually.
I love you, Caleb. We're gonna go off track here now because,
I'm fine with that.
dude, anytime you want to talk about that kind of stuff, I get quite passionate about that. When I graduated high school, I worked like 6 different jobs. One of them was in a warehouse for like 6 years, and it sucked the soul and life out of me. I absolutely hated it. And I mean, it's not for everyone. Like some people do just great and they prefer working for other people, but I have for most of my adult life. Wow, Jen and I, we've had several little businesses, nothing huge or major, but a lot of, I guess, diversified little businesses. But I keep encouraging my girls to do the same thing. It's like, hey, try it if you want, but it's so much better working for yourself. Like the money is, of course, can be better. It's more stressful because all the pressure's on you. But in my opinion, it far outweighs the alternative of working for someone else. And especially a smart young man like you start working for someone else and you start running the numbers and you're like, wait a minute, like they're making this much money and I'm getting this little bit of it, but I'm doing this much work. Like, what's up with that kind of thing? Just do your own thing. So that's pretty awesome. You're doing that.
That is
So
the goal.
nice. Well, hey, uh I don't have any worries. You're gonna be fine. I attribute a lot to carnivore, but every single person that I've interviewed, and it's been hundreds at this point. We've done 45 for the documentary, hundreds more on my YouTube channel, talking to people in comments that are doing carnivore. Every one of them ends up being so much more successful doing carnivore. And for the plant-based people or the skeptics out there, they think I'm hyping it up, but it's the truth. It's like when you're doing this and you get out of that brain fog, you get over the anxiety, your energy starts to grow. You're able to work harder, you're able to work smarter, you're able to make better decisions. And that's really what life is all about is your life is pretty much a result of all the decisions you make. And if you can make better decisions because your brain is in the right place, you're just going to be more successful. So that's pretty awesome. The path that you're going on there. So what what advice would you have for people out there? There's going to be a lot of people watching that have teenagers and they see their teenagers just eating horribly. Uh, I saw it with mine. I've said this before on my channel. Like, I was so sick and I ate pretty bad, but my girls, their generation is eating worse than I was eating. More chemicals, more food dyes, the big Starbucks cup that's just basically a big sugar bomb. What sort of advice do you have for parents that are like, I really want my kids to eat more like Caleb's eating?
I think personally, in my opinion, as the parent, you get to choose what your kid is and isn't allowed to eat, and you get to provide them with the food that is available. So I think as long as you are providing the right foods and you're not continuing to buy them the junk food, that will at least set them on the right track and get them in the right direction. Because I think a bit of it is going to be enabling. Because, as the parent, most of the time at least, you're going to be the one buying the food. You're going to be the one letting them have the Starbucks drink. Because if they're just teenagers, they're not going to be, actually running down to Starbucks to pay for that. Like, they're not usually doing that. It's usually the parents buying it for them. It's just as simple as saying no. It's not really easy, but I think, in my opinion, that's the way that it should be. The parents are the ones that teach the kids. They're kids for a reason. They're kids because they don't really know how to make the right choices most of the time. And that's why they have a parent to guide them. So I think it's up to the parent providing the right means for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I struggled with it early with my girls because they weren't doing it initially. And then my oldest was 19. And so she still lives at home, but she's got her own car and her own job. She can do whatever. But one of the first things I did was I'm like, I'm just not, I refuse to buy this poison and put it in my house. It's like if my 19-year-old, she's got her own job, her own car, if she's going to go buy it on her own, I can't I can't stop that necessarily, but I can control what's going in the house. And I think you're absolutely right on the enabling part. And it's not just shame parents because a lot of them just, it's this weird thing, Caleb, right? Like we always reward with junk food and garbage. You go to grandma's house, oh, give her a little piece of cookie. We got some candy for you, this kind of thing. So I think it's hard for parents even to get that out of their brain and reverse that.
Yeah, I agree.
So, um, in terms of carnivore, you've lost weight, you're feeling better, your energy's better, the anxiety that you're having is going away. What other things have you noticed? So I was checking out your YouTube channel and we were chatting earlier. I started working out more. Um, and I know you've been doing a little bit of stuff in the gym too. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. It's more that I've just had the motivation to do so. Like, originally, I really wanted to. I've always wanted to, like, be muscular, be strong, and kind of like just be able bodied, but I've never really had the motivation to do so. This year so far, it's mostly just been I've had the excess energy to do it. I've wanted to do it, and I've done it. So I go in and I do stuff, and I I work hard. I make sure I'm not hurting myself to the best of my abilities, and I see how strong I can get, and it's just I have the energy for it. So that's one of the big things. I even bought, like, literally in front of me, I have a bunch of weight plates, and right next to me I have a whole calisthenics thing, and we got kettlebells down here, and that's just at my house. So pretty soon here, I'm going to buy myself a bench and a squat rack and whatnot, so I can get those all at home. Because, having the convenience to drive to the gym is one of the things that I can't just do. Because, I can't drive just yet. I'm like 6 months away from going and getting my license. But that is something I want to do. I want to deck out the garage into a gym.
Right.
So yeah.
You you're lifting some, in my opinion. So I'm a rookie. I've never went to the gym and I've
Same
been
here.
going. Nice. So I've started going the last couple months. And my girls, they did a little bit more. Like I'd go to the gym with my daughters and they'd be like, Dad, you're doing that wrong. You're lifting that wrong. Do that this way. So they've been training me, but I started doing deadlifts and I posted a short the other day where I lifted 330, which I was like, that's kind of crazy. I had no idea. Like if people are like, what can you deadlift? I'm like, I don't know, 100 pounds. I don't even know what that means really. I didn't even know what a deadlift was before that, but 330 is more than what my buddy in Alaska, Bill Knott, lost in terms of weight. And 330 is like a crazy amount of weight. And then shortly after, I'm like, I heard from you, you were lifting right around the same time. You were deadlifting right around that same amount. Is that right?
Yeah. That was on I think it's called a trap bar. Or a hex bar. I don't know what people call it, but yeah, I was able to do 330 on a hex bar. I was just loading up and seeing what I could do on it. My friends were visiting from Nevada, and in the past we had talked about, if we ever go to a gym, we want to see what our max deadlift, squat, and bench is. So that was what I was able to max out at, and the bar couldn't hold any more weight, so we were just like, oh, I guess we got to call it there. So they were all like, "Dude, you could have done more," and I was like, "I don't know, man." But yeah, that was just what we decided to call it at. But it was cool. I enjoyed that. I like to deadlift. It just feels good if I do it right. On a straight bar, it's kind of awkward for me.
Right. Yeah, I know you got to be careful, and this isn't giving you advice because people were yelling at me. They're like, "You got to do it right." The big thing, I've got a friend, Anthony, in Washington. We're going to be filming for the documentary. He has stage 4 cancer, um, but he's a beast. Like he's just goes to the gym every single day, and as he's been doing carnivore, he's like, "I feel better now with stage 4 cancer than I have my entire life." But he's just absolutely ripped, and he just did. I think it was 440 deadlift, which was his personal record. And his advice to me was have someone help you, like get a trainer and use the belt. That was the big thing he said was use the belt. And I'm kind of reckless. I'm just saying, I'll be all right. But you got to be careful. Caleb, I watched this YouTube video because I've been doing more research on this stuff. I watched a YouTube video, this guy that was lifting for a long time, and he did a deadlift weird, and you could literally hear like a pop on the camera. And he messed up something huge in his back, like put him out for a long time. So I have that. I wasn't really listening to Anthony. I was kind of, but then I saw that video. I'm like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I've seen those for sure.
It's a,
Mike Israetel, Renaissance periodization. He's really good for that kind of stuff. That's who I watch.
nice.
And I haven't really gone to the gym and tried to lift with good technique necessarily, but I definitely have gotten a lot of pointers from him. He's definitely good for that stuff.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. I that is impressive though that you were able to lift that much. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I was impressed with myself. I really don't think I could have done that pre-carnivore. Like it was so heavy. I'm like shaking and like barely able to get it up, and you were able to do it too. And that's pretty incredible. I feel like this makes sense. It's science here, but I feel like we're able to build muscle so much quicker on carnivore. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? It seems like recovery too is a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, if protein is the building block for the body, then having an excess of protein and having an excess of energy in the form of fat, you'd almost assume that yeah, things are gonna go a little bit faster or a lot faster in some cases because well, your body has this optimal source of energy. It's in the optimal mode of burning energy, and you have an excess of building blocks to rebuild your body. So you would almost assume that by default you'd be building more.
Right? All the science is there. It makes perfect sense. But then it's funny because when you go to the general public, a lot of people will say, I can't do carnivore. I'm an athlete. I need carbohydrates. And I'm like, man, look at Dr. Chafee. Look at Dr. Baker. Look at some of the people Dr. Chafee's interviewed too. Lots of athletes. Dr. Baker's broken world records in his 50s as a carnivore.
Yeah.
Rowing and stuff like that. That guy's such an inspiration. I don't know if you ever watch him, but I've been watching more of his shorts lately. Every day. Like, I think the other day he had like, I want to say it was like a 600-pound deadlift or something.
His deadlifts are like 565 or something. Yeah, I saw those, and I was like, one day I'll get there.
And it was like nothing for him. Like me, when
Yeah.
I did the 300, I was like every single muscle in my body, I'm shaking. I'm like, I gotta get this up. He's just like, whoop.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for a long time, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. So what are you thinking in terms of carnivore? Like it's always hard to say, but do you feel like this is something you're going to be doing long term?
Uh, Probably. I mean, my whole thing has been like, if I can find something that's better, I'll do something better. If I don't find anything better than carnivore, I might as well continue to do carnivore, especially considering how easy it is compared to literally every other way of eating.
Right.
So if carnivore still stands to be the best way for me to eat, I'm gonna keep doing carnivore. So I'm looking for the right answer, not the easy answer. At least as far as this goes, because I want to live a long, happy, healthy life. So I want to be able to do that as correctly as I can. And if this is the correct way to do it, then I'm going to do it this way. That's kind of my mindset.
That's great. The one thing, if I may caution you on, is you said you have a little bit of weight to lose still. You're not quite at your goal. Just be careful when you get to your goal because you got a good head on your shoulders, so you're probably going to be just fine. But so many people get to their goal and then they're like, I'm there. Now I can go back to moderation. And I don't know, man. That whole moderation thing, I feel like
I'm
Stick.
physically incapable of that. I literally cannot. I've tried a lot of times. I am an all in or all out kind of person. I can't just like have a little bit here, have a cheat day once a month. It's like if I were to cheat on carnivore, I know this. I know this for sure. If I were to cheat on carnivore and like go eat a piece of cheesecake or something, I would fall off the wagon completely and I wouldn't do carnivore for at least another year. And I would gain, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Like
Right.
I know that for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that's the crazy thing for me doing this documentary and filming people. That was one of my big epiphanies. It's like we're all just addicted. I lost so much weight doing keto diets over the years, and I would always it would be like keto creep. I could have 20 carbs, and just like you, Caleb, 20 carbs, I'll have some berries, right? I'd eat those. I'd be like more sugar, more sugar, more sugar, more carbs, and I could never moderate it. You look around in the world right now. You said this earlier. 7 out of 10 of us are overweight. It's like everyone's addicted. I feel like almost everyone is addicted. Maybe there's a few people that can moderate, but even then, it's like just because you can moderate or tolerate something, I could tolerate eating cardboard every day, or I could tolerate eating just a small, tiny amount of rat poison, and I'd probably be okay if it was small enough. But just because we can moderate or tolerate something, it's crazy to me that people think that we should. Just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I So when you hit your goal weight, one thing, just fair warning, this happened for me and a lot of other people. You're gonna get really hungry, really, really hungry. It's crazy. Like, what is going on? I'm so hungry because your
Yeah.
body's like you burn the body fat, the fuel reserves that you have on your body, but it doesn't last very long. So that's the good news. It lasted a couple of weeks for me, and I started eating more fat, and I started eating more meals. I think I was doing 1 meal a day. I went to 2 meals a day, and then it got back to normal. But I was quite worried when that happened for me. I'm like, I can't eat this much forever. Like, oh, I got to do this the rest of my life now. What are your what would your advice be for someone just in general, or like thinking about doing carnivore, but they think it's crazy?
Uh, I mean, I would generally point them in either your direction or Dr. Anthony Chakey's direction. He was the YouTube channel that I watched for all of the weird factual things that I was like, what about this? What about this? How's my testosterone gonna look on carnivore? I thought, certain plants were good for that and stuff. So I went to his channel and I found out. I was like, oh, cool. It fixes it or changes it or makes it go to what it should be. So all the questions I would generally take there and if you can like validate all your concerns or figure out that they're not actually concerns or they're not worth worrying about, then just give it a shot. If you gave vegan a shot or if you've given any other diet a shot, I'm sure you didn't do as much research into those as you are into carnivore. So, and fiber is non-digestible. That's one of the other things, because a lot of this fiber supplements and stuff out there. I'm just like, if it's not even digestible, why eat it? Like,
Right.
it's not providing anything for my body. And then, if you're a teen and you want to start carnivore, I'd say, you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to. It's okay. I'm not perfect when I do carnivore either. I've eaten food with seasoning on it. I've, had hot sauce on a meal, multiple meals. It's totally fine. It's not the end of the world. 90% is better than 30%. Progress over perfection. That's something I heard Chris Cooking Nashville say. And I was like, that stuck with me. I was like, okay, yeah, progress over perfection for sure.
Right. You mentioned fiber. That's a big concern for people doing carnivore. The other one is, and I'm just interested to hear your take on this because you're 16, you're younger. But a lot of people they have this thing I have since birth. I don't know if you have at age 16, but meat's going to clog your arteries. You're going to have a massive heart attack. You can't just eat meat. Has that been your perception growing up, or?
Definitely not, actually. My parents, they've always kind of been on the up and up. They've kind of known things. They know that meat is healthy. They know it's very nutrient dense. They, know all those things. And they were never like, it's gonna kill you. Don't eat a lot of it, because they were always kind of like, that's kind of just suspicious. They just thought it was weird. They're like, you're telling me this very nutrient dense, God given food is gonna kill me if I eat it? I don't believe that. So they're like, yeah, we're just gonna buy the grass fed beef, the good stuff. So the majority of the meat that I eat is grass fed beef. I do enjoy chicken, even though it's leaner. It's a different taste. It's a little more variety. So it's definitely something that I eat. But yeah, no, I didn't grow up believing that, cholesterol was going to kill me or my arteries were going to clog. And my parents just didn't concern me with that. They weren't like, oh, make sure you don't eat too much red meat because this. They just wouldn't really do this. They'd be like, yeah, we're going to make sure we feed our kid, good food. My problem was I would just eat way too much of it. I I could eat when I was 12, I could eat more than my dad could. And that was like concerning because my dad is still overweight and he was pretty significantly overweight for a while. And me being able to eat more than him at 12 years old was like, what? I'm like, that's a little bit concerning. How can you do that? Like, oh, maybe he's just, growing and stuff. And then I did grow, but I didn't shoot up to be like 6'4" or something.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one because most parents would be like, "Oh, he's a growing boy, it's fine." Yeah.
Yeah.
What has your perspective on things changed? For example, a lot of people are like, "Man, the system's so broken. Like we go to the grocery store, it's all addictive foods. People are all addicted. Then you got the medication." Has your outlook or perspective on the world changed since you've been doing this for a couple hundred, 200 days or so?
A bit for sure. I've already kind of, like I said before, my parents have already known about this stuff. Neither of my parents are on any medications and they avoid all kinds of like everything. They don't really like to do medicine and stuff because like we know that it's gonna cause another issue most likely, and then we're gonna have to pay for another thing, and then you're gonna get hurt some way. Because when I was 7, I broke my arm, and it was one of the joint bones, I believe, in my elbow, so they had to reset it and click it back in place. So they put me under for that, and I think the medication they gave me was called like temporal anesthesia or something. It's like kid anesthesia. And after that, I started to gain weight. I was skinny. Like then and before, I was like skinny. I wasn't strong or anything, but I was like skinny. After that point, I started getting like rapidly overweight. And they were like, "What? How is this? Why?" So one of the side effects of that medicine is it slows down metabolism a lot. So that was the side effect that I had gotten from the medicine, and it was that, or at least that's what we believe. And then, if that is the case, my metabolism slowed down a lot, and I started gaining a lot of weight. So that was like one of the things. I don't know if that was a determining factor. Like I've never been vaccinated or anything. Um, that's kind of another thing that my parents do. They don't vaccinate and whatnot. Just like can cause you a lot of issues down the line and even immediately. So yeah, I've never really grown up like that, but I do look at billboards a little differently now, like Starbucks billboards.
Quick interruption. Did you know we have an incredible membership site for you called healinghumanity.life? We have a special offer going on right now. Learn more at the link in the description. We have courses, we have expert Q&As with the good doctors. We even have a Healing Humanity Heroes Zoom call once a week, highlighting real heroes that will inspire you on a path to healing. The community is wonderful. We're going to be implementing a buddy system so you can be held accountable, recipes, all sorts of great stuff to help you on a path to healing. Learn more at the link in the description below.
Just advertising drugs for people, like just trying to get them hooked. All the Lunchables with the gummies and candy in them, just trying to get the kids hooked too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, all right, the next question I had for you was what sort of challenges, if any, have you had? You had a lot of upside and a lot of good stuff going on with carnivore, but any downsides or challenges that you've run into?
Skin is hard for me to like pinpoint. I have these. Maybe I'll send you some pictures you can show on the screen in the video. But I have these like rashes on the insides of my arms, and I started getting them a couple of years ago. Whenever I would eat a lot of dairy, so I would cut out dairy, and then they would kind of go away for a while. So while on carnivore, I got them back again, and then I cut out dairy, and they went away. But then before I brought dairy back in, they came back, and I was like, "Why did they come back? I didn't eat any dairy." So I've been experimenting with that. That's the main reason I've been experimenting on carnivore because they just randomly get really bad and like raised and itchy and like then they get dry and they go away and then they come back even if I don't eat dairy or if I eat dairy. They just seem to be worse if I eat dairy. So I'm kind of playing around with that to see, how does that work? But that's been one of the biggest things has been that for sure, because I can't figure it out. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to do this?
Right. Have you ever tried just doing like lion diet for a couple days?
I actually did do Lion Diet. That was actually this first time or second time I ever tried carnivore, because I've tried carnivore before. I did Lion Diet, and I literally ate ribeyes for 3 days. I ended up losing like 7.5 pounds in 3 days. And I even tracked my calories for all those people out there. Like, yeah, you probably eat in a calorie deficit. I ate 3,500 calories a day for 3 days, which is like a huge amount of calories. So then I still lost 7.5 pounds, which is also like unreal. I don't know what it was. Like, I didn't know you could drop water weight that fast or whatever it was. But yeah, I was able to like, and I'm still significantly overweight. I was able to see my abs in the mirror, which
Mm,
was like the strangest thing. I was starting to see them shape, and I was like, that's so weird considering I'm still like, 30, 40 pounds overweight. Like, that's weird.
right. One thing I hear from people sometimes is histamine issues can be tricky and present themselves weirdly. So I don't know if that's something you've looked into, but maybe trying a lower histamine version of carnivore for a couple days and seeing if that helps with the skin issues. But yeah, some of those things can be tricky. All of us are just individuals, obviously, so it's really sometimes requires some experimenting.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. What other questions do I have here? Oh, you have a YouTube channel. What inspired you to do a YouTube channel and share on there?
Bella inspired me to do the YouTube channel Bella and Max. Cause back in Vegas, when they were looking to like see Vegas and stuff, they posted somewhere like, "Hey, is there anyone who could tell us about Vegas and tell us where the good places are and stuff?" And my mom jumped on that. Was like, "Me, we can do that." Like, "Hey, we're doing carnivore. Our son is doing carnivore. Can we bring him too?" And like, "Yeah, you could totally do that." So we did that. We went. We talked. It was great. And Bella was like, "Kaleb, you totally need to start a YouTube channel." And Max was like, "Yeah, that's a great idea. You have the personality for it. You can do it." Definitely like nervous. And I didn't start it for a while after that. I think they suggested that around the time we moved, which was like a little bit in October, like early October. And I obviously didn't start until this year. And I was just like super nervous to do it. And I'm still nervous in front of a camera. Like, it's not very natural, but no skills are immediately natural unless you have a talent for it. So it's a learned skill that I'm looking to learn. But that was why I started it. They were like, "You should do this." And I was like, I had already been thinking about it before. And yeah, sure, why not? So I did it.
That's so cool. Shout out Max and Bella. Those two are the best. So what did you was it a meetup or you just met up personally?
Just met up personally. They were like, "Hey, we want to know if anyone can, tell us about Vegas." My mom was like, "Yeah, we've been here for like, 16, 17, 18 years. We can tell you about Vegas."
Nice. Yeah, they're the best. They've come to quite a few of our meetups we've had, including the one we just had down in Tampa with Dr. Kiltz. Uh, they're amazing. So speaking of meetups, you came to the Arizona meetup, right?
Yeah,
How was that?
it was
Was that your
pretty cool.
was that your first meetup?
Yeah, that was my first meetup. That was the first one. It was pretty good. I did meet a few people. I talked to a few people. It's so strange. I have this thing. I don't know why. I don't know what about my face does this, but people guess I'm way older than I am. I got mistaken for my mom's husband, and I got mistaken for being a 25-year-old. And I was like, "Dude, really?" And it's probably because I this is usually a lot more grown out. It's like actually starting to become a beard, but I trim it now sometimes. But usually it's like 3, 4 times the length it is now. So that was all grown out when we went. And I was wearing a hoodie. So I don't know what it was, but I was like, dude, I'm not 35, 40 years old. I'm not 25 years old, guys. So I get that a decent amount from people. It was fun though. It was cool. Met some people, heard some stories I hadn't heard before. And some that really resonated with me. And the steak was good. That was actually probably Radizio Grill is what it was.
Yeah.
That's my new favorite Brazilian steakhouse. They have none of those out in Idaho, so I can't like go to those. But they're good. I like them.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good meal afterwards for sure. I've gotten hooked on these the meetups. I don't know, it's just it's because we're kind of the weird ones out, which is great. I like being weird. You mentioned earlier you're kind of weird. You don't go with the
For
flow.
sure.
I think the coolest people in the world are the weird ones. Why go with the flow? But being in a group of other individuals that are like-minded and they get it and they're doing it, it's pretty awesome. Plus the energy just always seems so good. Everyone's like upbeat and happy and positive, and the community's just been wonderful. So what would your one question I gotta ask, everyone always asks this, you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, but what does your typical meal look like? Like say today or tomorrow, what are you eating on carnivore?
It's kind of random right now. I prefer eating like actual muscles, like whole muscles, something like a chuck roast or a steak or something, as opposed to ground beef. I'm not a huge fan of the texture. I'll eat it. But right now it's kind of whatever my mom is buying. I usually go with her, but like whatever is in bulk or that we can buy at a good price, like it is literally whatever. And 9 out of 10 times it's good. And that's kind of what we do. But I would say the most like ribeyes, my mom will buy, big old rib roast, and we'll cut it into steaks. Had that for a while, and that it'll be like little blips of time will be what I'm eating. It'll be like, okay, so since we have huge ribeye, you're gonna be eating ribeyes for X amount of days, and since we have ribs, we're eating ribs for today, and it'll be kind of like whatever we have. So, and then if I see something that I want, I'll pick it up, I'll buy it. Yeah, I want to have this, the tomahawk video I did. I've never had a tomahawk before, never cooked one before. And I was like, okay, sure. I'll buy one and have it. I'll eat that today. So it's kind of just goes how it goes.
Nice. All right, my last question for you is I have a lot of people that are considering carnivore, they're doing keto, they've got health issues. What are some tips or advice you'd give someone that's thinking about doing carnivore? Maybe tips and advice or also mistakes to avoid.
Mistakes to avoid would be don't lean too heavy on the dairy. It can really give you stomach issues if you have too much of it. I learned that the hard way multiple times by having too much dairy. I think at one point my diet consisted of like, 60-70% dairy. And that was a mistake I made. But I've learned from it. So don't lean too heavy into dairy. Figure out what meats you like before you start. Like if you really like chicken wings and flank steak, I would get chicken wings and flank steak for your first few weeks or maybe even your first month to at least have them. And then if you're someone like me and you really like bacon, have cooked bacon ready to eat, for cravings and whatnot. And figure out if there's a specific brand of butter you like. Because I personally really like European butters because allegedly the fat content is a little higher, but I just like the way they taste. So find out what kinds of things you like and then get them so that if you do transition and do carnivore, it's not as hard and you have what you already know you like. Because that was another thing in the first like month. In the first month of carnivore, I was doing a lot of ground beef because I just didn't know what else to eat. I didn't know what I liked. But now that I know what I liked, I kind of go for those things more.
Hmm.
So that would be my main pieces of advice and things to avoid.
Yeah, great advice. This is awesome, Caleb. I really appreciate you coming on. I think your story is going to inspire a lot of people. Is there anything else you want to mention or talk about before we wrap up?
No, not really. But I do think this is a good way to eat. I think it's at the very at that minimum, it is one of the best ways you can eat, and it's good. It works. And if you're a teen and you're feeling down or you're feeling depressed, know that you're not alone and know that it can be fixed. I was there less than a year ago. It is totally reversible. It's totally fixable. I was there too recently. So it's not the end of the world. It's just a blip in your life and you can be happy.
Hmm. That is great. Great way to end it. I love that. Because I think so many people think this is just me. It's always going to be this way. And for so many people, it's just your food. It's just your nutrition. Change your diet. You could change your life forever for sure. Thank you so much, Caleb. I really appreciate it. Oh, the last question is, can you shout out one more time? Where can people find you if they want to learn more or follow you?
Caleb's Carnivore Quest on YouTube, and I have an Instagram. I just don't really use Instagram, so you can follow me on there too if you want.
Perfect.
So yeah.
I will have links in the description below for both of those for Kaleb. Thank you so much, Kaleb. Really appreciate you. Open invite if you ever want to come back and talk, but great
Okay.
job, great work. Really love what you're doing and sharing your story on your YouTube channel. I think your story is going to inspire a lot of people. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. I actually have a couple questions I want to ask you off camera, or you can even have it on or whatever.
Oh, sure. I'll consider this ended, but
Yeah.
since it's going, let's just keep going. And if we don't want to include it in the video, I'll just pull it out.
Okay. So I'm gonna in Washington State in like June or something. You have a meetup, right?
Yeah, Dr.
So
Baker.
I'm gonna be there for that.
Oh, nice.
So I would love to go. I had an idea for a video because we were talking about carnivores being strong and whatever. I own a professional arm wrestling table because arm wrestling's a passion of mine.
Yep.
I would love to bring it out and do a video giving away carnivore bars to anyone who could beat me in an arm wrestle. Like
Nice.
then I could like arm wrestle Sean Baker and just have like a fun like video. We could do that. I just wanted to run it by you because I know it's your event. So because my mom and I are gonna be coming out in the truck, so we could bring it.
Is the table like really big or?
No, it's like it's I don't know, it's 3 feet by 3 feet. It's not huge.
Dude, I think it's awesome. It should be totally fine. I'll
Yeah.
chat with I just want to be careful because Ashley and Lynn are kind of organizing this, but I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. And oh my goodness, having Dr. Baker arm wrestle
That would be fun.
it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
We just gotta tell them take it easy. Like we don't want any injuries
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, there are definitely tips and stuff to not have injuries, and I've learned about that watching professional arm wrestling stuff. So yeah, I just
Right.
enjoy arm wrestling, and I really love to do it. And I'm at a point where I can beat everyone in my house. So I thought it'd be so cool to see how many people could beat me.
Yeah.
If it was everyone that everyone could beat me in an arm wrestle here, like that's
Right.
insane. That's so cool to see how strong everyone is. And I could give away carnivore bars while I'm at it.
Let's just do it. 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just set it. I don't know. The only thing I'm thinking in my head is I'm not sure the location we have yet and the
Yeah.
logistics of it, but it'll work. Like everywhere we go, we end up having like a registration table where people come in, or we have a table with the Healing Humanity shirts on it. So we could just put it like next to that and go from there. I'll do a YouTube video on that too, man. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And my mom wanted to know when the meetup is, like specifics. The one in Washington.
Oh, I think we're trying to finalize those details. My buddy Ashley was just telling me I've got a meeting with him on Tuesday, but let me just look real quick because we do have an events page and he's been updating it periodically. I don't think he's updated it yet. June 7th, details coming soon. 8 a.m., 5 p.m. Yeah, he hasn't updated it officially yet. I think we will know by Tuesday, though.
Okay, sounds awesome.
Yeah, and there's a page. I'll try to remember to email you, but healinghumanity.movie/event. It'll be updated on there soon. And I'll be announcing it on YouTube and social media once it's officially updated. But we just talked last week, and there was like 3 venues that we were considering. So like they were trying to figure out, there was a venue that we could go and do the meetup and actually have food catered there. And then there was another one where it was separate like we did before. So we're trying to work out those details. And then I think we're trying to, Dr. Baker's going, but locking in the time that works best, trying to accommodate him to make sure it works best for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we should know on Tuesday.
Okay, and I also wanted to let you know I'm totally down with doing live streams with anyone.
Oh, nice.
So I enjoy live streams. The chat keeps it going and keeps it from getting dull. All the supportive people.
Well, you might have seen, well, yeah, you have, because you've been commenting in them, the Thursday one. If you want to jump in on one of those, the one we're doing it tonight. But tonight I think it might be a little, well, maybe. I don't know if it's too short a notice. If you wanted to do it even tonight, you're welcome to.
I can check in with my parents. I have like a little bit of work to do today, like 2 hours maybe. So I can definitely get that done before then.
Yeah, otherwise, any other Thursday, although next Thursday we might be skipping it because I'm going to be in Where am I going to be next Thursday? Quick interruption. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in learning more about our documentary, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet, or supporting it, please visit donate.healinghumanity.movie. Our goal is to reach millions of people that are hopeless right now and sharing the examples of real people over the course of 1 year that are undertaking a proper human diet to overcome obesity, type 2 diabetes, depression, anxiety, fertility issues. We couldn't do it without you. We thank you so much. We are also selling these shirts, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet. Every penny we get from those goes towards the documentary. And last, we have memberships. If you click the little join button, it's best to do it on desktop. Under any one of my YouTube videos, you can join and become a member. We have hundreds of members right now. We do members only videos. We do members only behind the scenes. You can email me as a member and I'll answer you. And every penny from that goes to support the documentary. And the last thing is we have these Redmond's portable salt shakers. These things are awesome. You can get the best salt. You can take it with you. We sell these on the website along with our water bottles and cutting boards, and every penny from all of those goes 100% towards supporting the documentary. You can also sign up for our newsletter, which is completely free. All of these links are in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to today's video. Texas, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am anymore.
I
It's
really
crazy.
wanted to go to that one. I've only been to Texas once, and it was on a road trip, so I was like kind of passing through Texas. But
Right.
you know, I hear a lot of good things about Texas because of how huge the state is, how many people are in it. So a lot of good things to hear about Texas.
We did we did Hack Your Health was in Austin. And
I'll
that
be
was
there
where-
too.
I was just gonna
I'll
ask
be
you
on Hack Your Health.
in November.
Yep. In
I was gonna
Florida.
say, dude, if you can go to anything, that is the one. That's gonna be crazy.
That's
You're
what
gonna have
Bella
so much
told
fun.
me.
Bella's gonna be there. All the doctors are gonna be there. Adam and I are actually speaking. We're gonna
that's
be on
cool.
stage speaking, and Dr. Kiltz is speaking. Yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. But as we get closer, I don't know what's gonna happen. But when we did the last Hack Your Health, it was in Austin, we ended up renting a gigantic Airbnb, and it turned into Camp Carnivore. Like Bella was there, Dr. Chafee was there, Dr. Baker was sleeping on the couch one night. Like it was crazy. I'm like,
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
Dr. Baker, I watched him on Joe Rogan, dude, sleeping on the couch right there. And Joe Rogan's phone number is in his phone right there. I was joking with Adam. I'm like, go grab his phone. Like you talk to Joe Rogan.
That would be
But,
nuts.
But I don't know if we're going to do that again. It's kind of far off in November, but we'll definitely send you an invite. If we don't do something like that, like we had a lot of events at the thing as well. So we had
Yeah.
like some dinners and we did a big live stream with Bella and we invited a bunch of people. So I'll definitely send you an invite if we do something like that down at Hack Your Health.
I'll be on Kiltz's live stream too, actually.
Nice.
When he had the live stream with you, he mentioned like, hey, if you ever want to be on my show, he's like, contact me. Literally while I was listening to the live stream, I contacted him and was like, I would love to. Like that would be awesome. So it's on the 14th, I believe, next month.
Is that the
Just
early morning?
The
one?
early morning one, yeah. It'll be
Nice.
3 a.m. for me.
Oh man. I think I think it was 4 a.m. I did his at it was 4. He's the best. He's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
That's cool. If you want to do more, well, after this video with me goes live, there's gonna be a bunch of people reaching out to you. So if you want to do more, it's kind of fun. But yeah, the Thursday one, I'd say open invite. I just got to check because if you want to do the one tonight, just let me know. I'll shoot you an email.
Okay.
Because I think Renee's not showing up tonight. That's the only tricky part with some of these. If you get like 12 people on, it just becomes it's too hard to get everyone to talk. But tonight would be a good one. Otherwise, in like 2 weeks, because I don't think we're doing one next week. But yeah, it'd be cool to have you on there. I like having different perspectives. Just having a bunch of dudes that are like me that are my age. It's like not as fun. Have a teenager in there, have Dr. Kiltz in there, get some different angles and perspectives. So
yeah, it was interesting being at the meetup because like I was like the youngest person there pretty much.
yeah.
I saw like someone's kid. I was like, other than that, everyone here is like 40 years old or older. Like that's kind of weird. So I can definitely see how it would be awkward for like a teenager who wanted to go to a meetup, just not decide to go. Because like, it's awkward or it's weird if they're the only person there. So I think someone like me going to those or making a video at one of those and showing that I show up and go to those would encourage more young people to actually head there to see maybe I can get some friends. If Caleb's going, then there has to be some teenagers going. So it's kind of like to pull more people in, you know, see if they want to come over.
Yeah, and if you're willing to film a video for your channel at some of these meetups, that's like perfect content. That's one thing we've struggled with. Like you do that, I'm happy to shout out your video and get the word out. We've tried to film at a few of these. We got some clips from Arizona, but we had to hire someone. It's too hard for me and Adam to like film the whole thing because we're talking. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that'd be cool to see a teenager's perspective at one of these meetups, especially Hack Your Health. Oh my goodness, man, I wish I could just film at Hack Your Health because it's like Dr. Chafee just walked in. This
You
is
can't
crazy.
film at Hack Your Health.
You can. I did a little bit. I just don't have. I'm
Oh.
usually don't have the time, and you're gonna get this too.
Okay.
You're gonna walk in and people are like, oh, there's Caleb. I watched your
That'd be
YouTube
so
channel."
strange.
It's the craziest thing. People
Yeah.
think it's like normal for me because my YouTube channels is kind of big now, but it wasn't before. When I went to Hacker Health last year, it was crazy. I had people asking for my autograph. We had like a swarm of people, and Emma was with me, and Adam was. We're like, this is crazy, to the point where we felt rude because it's like we got to go give our speech in 3 minutes, and people just kept coming up. But they're all carnivore fans, so they watch all the YouTube videos and stuff. So you'll get people recognizing you there for sure, especially after the video we're just doing together here. So cool, man. Good stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. It was awesome talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much.